I'm Lynne Hurdle-Price from the Bronx, and I'm an educational consultant, and I've been in the field of social and emotional learning for over 20 years. Started out with conflict resolution and really doing a lot around diversity and dialogue, and then started doing work around integrating contemplative practices in 2001 when I started working with Lantieri and her curriculum that she was putting together, and then going into schools and really working the program and seeing the results. Well, a few series of different lessons, like we do use CDs that students can really learn how to be quiet and to relax and to quiet their bodies. And then we also use something, mindfulness, like an example might be the raisin exercise, where they learn to, rather than just devour a raisin, to actually taste it a little bit at a time, to roll it around in their mouths and to really learn, what does this raisin taste like? One of my most favorite stories is we had a kindergarten classroom. This was in Ohio, and we actually had the news media in to tape, and they did, and we were leaving, and I thought I heard crying, and I did. I turned and I saw the students had wanted so badly to talk about the Peace Corner on camera, and everybody couldn't be in that shot. And so there was a little girl that kind of got crushed in the commotion. She was crying. And so I went over, and as soon as I got there, there was one girl kindergartner and a boy kindergartner on either side of her. And the girl says to me, "No, she's all right. She's okay. We can handle this." And so then they turned to her and they said, "Okay, just breathe. Do your belly breathing." And they literally talked her through. And she was really crying. And they talked her down to a place of calm, and then turned to me and said, I told you. So I thought, wow, this is kindergarten. Fantastic. I'm sorry, with teachers, what we do is the same thing, because they can't go into a classroom and teach being relaxed and mindful if they themselves are not that way. I mean, we've said that all along with all the skills. Absolutely. If you're teaching conflict resolution, you should be skilled yourself and certainly on the path in learning better ways of teaching it. But we teach the same thing. So we take the curriculum and we break it down over a series of days, and we teach them what is in the curriculum, but we also give them the opportunity to be still and silent outside of the classroom. In other words, the questions that we might ask them to reflect on are about personal life as well as the classroom, so that they really get an opportunity to tune into themselves as people, not just as teachers or administrators or guidance counselors, whatever they are in the school setting. Being a theater person myself, I love writing. I love being able to listen to language. And one of the things that you hope for if you get a great part is, could I get a monologue? I mean, yes, the dialogue's great, but can I get a monologue, that moment on stage when it's just me and the audience and whoever I'm talking to? So for me, mindful monologues is a way to really get to emotions, to really think about and feel a particular emotion and connect it to an event, and then be able to write from that space of that emotion what it means to you, how it connects to that event, and then be able to share that with an audience that's listening mindfully, because the two things happen when I teach that. It's teaching how to express, but it's also teaching to be that listener. And so what you want, hopefully, ideally, is for someone to be able to talk to you. And yes, we want the dialogue, but that moment when someone really tells you what it is that's going on for them, that's a monologue in itself. And people don't term it that. That's not the term that you use for it, but that is what it is we're looking for. And teaching that in that moment, the listening needs to be very mindful. We're not interrupting. We're not trying to get to that point where we can ask questions. We're purely taking it in for what it is. It's a mindful moment for that person to simply state what's on their heart. And so that's what I'm teaching a little bit of at Garrison this weekend, but it's really a longer extension over time of how we get to that place for ourselves and how we get students and adults too to the place where they can really speak from the heart. The students that get the conflict resolution and the other social emotional learning skills, those are the easier ones. But what about the ones that don't want to do anything but kick and punch? Could it be that they really just need to be able to tune in and regulate and be mindful? And then when we start the work and I see the results, I'm motivated every single day because I feel like we're reaching a lot more of the students by integrating this work into what we're already doing. Because they need both. They absolutely need both. But this, I think, has been the missing piece, at least in my opinion.